Hello, hi, welcome or welcome back. My name is Rachel and today I'm putting my face on to get ready to film additional content. It's going to be mostly new makeup from the Credo Friends and Family sale, a couple of drugstore things, maybe a couple high-end things we bring in from my collection, and we're going to talk about health and wellness. So if that sounds good to you, let's go ahead and dive in. I just took my hair out of a microfiber towel and clearly did not think this through because I do not have my brush with me, so we're just gonna get it out of the way. I have had quite the morning. It's only 9 o'clock and I feel like I've lived 9 lives. I got back into solid core and we're gonna get into all of that, but I will briefly mention what I'm using and then we'll do a roundup at the end. So I'm gonna go in with my tried and true Live Tinted. I'm almost done with this one, which is exciting. It's my second tube that I've gone through since I started using it. But first and foremost, hello to everyone who is new here. We hit 600, which is like just mind-boggling. Thank you so much for being here. It truly means the world to me that you choose to spend your precious time with me talking about makeup, fashion, health, all of that. I can't believe that there are 600 people who felt so inclined to subscribe and hang out with me, and I just feel a lot of love right now. So thank you so much for being here. I'm very, very excited. I know a lot of you are new for my Sephora channel, so let's get to know each other. Get Ready With Me's are staples, I think, on my channel based on the feedback that I've gotten from everyone in the comments. So I think you're going to be seeing a little bit more bonus videos coming up with Get Ready With Me's. And yeah, I'm very excited about that. So I am going to give the Huss Labs foundation another shot today. I haven't returned it. I'm probably not going to return it. 1, because I'm too lazy to go to the store, and 2, I want to love this. I really want to love it, so I'm going to continue to try it until I crack the code, because it seems like with my typical skin prep, the wear is not as good. Like, it starts to break up and get dry on me towards the end of the day, and I want to love it. I really do. So I'm just going in with the Kokie Buffing Foundation brush. BR 618, if you will. I love the handle, so fun. But I thought this would be a good way to kind of share my health journey and the reset that we have talked about in the last Get Ready With Me. I'm kind of torn on just making a dedicated video where I'm just talking to you while not doing anything and going through all of the details of the history of my health, where my health is at now, and what I'm planning to do. I think I just feel more comfortable doing it in a Get Ready With Me. I don't necessarily want to become a health advisor to anybody in any respect. I'm not qualified, you know what I mean? And I am more than happy to share my story for those of you who are interested, and to give you a little bit of context when we do things like beauty strategy videos where we talk about like how I use beauty rituals and things to like get through difficult times. So I'm happy to do that. I just don't think I want it to be like a serious sit down video, because we'll see if I get emotional in this video. It more than likely might happen because I know a lot of you understand this, unfortunately. Going through health issues, it's very taxing physically, emotionally, all of that. So hopefully I don't. I'm pretty hopped up on caffeine that we'll get to why in a minute, because I'm very excited about why. And also, we need to talk about my relationship with caffeine. It all ties together in this video. So just went in with the Rose Ink concealer, and then I might take a break and show you some of the new stuff. So yeah, I mentioned in my last Get Ready With Me that I am in need of a very serious kind of health reset, and a lot of that has to do with balancing So you'll notice that I really only got one upload up this week. Hopefully I can get this one up on the weekend. But the reason that was is because I really needed to kind of buckle down and focus on work this week, and I made really good strides there. But one thing that I mentioned is like that work-life balance, and some of you might be like, duh, Rachel, get on with the conversation after I say what I'm about to say, but this was a huge light bulb breakthrough moment for me when I was talking to my mentor, and I had on my kind of list of goals of what I wanted to get out of the mentorship was understanding work-life balance a little bit more. And she started in the conversation, and I forget exactly what was said, but a light bulb just went off in my head that I had always looked at work-life balance as social obligations, familial obligations versus work. And now I have an understanding that it's not just obligations to other people or things, it's self-care down to the very bare minimum, which is sleeping, drinking water, exercising, and taking care of your physical and mental health in those ways. And we're going to get into that. But that never clicked for me. I feel like I am a 31-year-old woman. I've been working in corporate world since 2013. And I kind of hit the first phase of work-life balance when I was working an on-call 24/7 job that was so taxing on my health. And that plays a really big role in this discussion because that's when things really kicked off for me health-wise. I learned then how to turn work off and how to walk away from work. So it was work and life balanced in that way. And now I feel like I'm coming up on 2.0 or phase 2, if you will, where now I can bucket those things out even more and say, yes, it's work and non-work life, but it's also personal health and prioritizing myself somewhere in the mix of those two things. And if you are wondering how to find the balance, there's so many resources. Everyone has a different idea of what that looks like. I'm sure they'll sell you 1,000,001 ideas of how to achieve it. But for me, just having that aha moment and being able to reflect on that and think about it, even as I'm talking to you now about that, I think is going to be a driver for this kind of next phase of my health journey. So I'm just applying the Huss Labs Bio Blurring Powder. Did I get it right? Bio Blurring Loose Setting Powder in Translucent. And I am liking this finish so far. But we're going to break there because that's kind of a context that I wanted to share with you going into conversations about physical and mental health. Okay, so what I picked up new from the Credo Friends and Family sale, if you are not new here, I love Westman Atelier products. I own several, and I haven't tried any cheek products. So when they launched their holiday duo minis, I jumped at the opportunity. I think that this lip balm is full size, but I got it in the, I don't know if this is duo 1 or 2. This is duo 1, and it comes with the lip balm in Puce and the blush in Couchette. So here is the lip balm. I think this is all gonna go really well together for what I am planning this whole look. And we'll get ready together fully. I'll put clothes on because like I put my bathrobe on and I was like, I'm cold though. So I just have a cardigan on. Anyway, there's the lip balm, a nice kind of cool berry pink, and Couchette blush, which looks more like it's definitely a warm rose, but it has a decent amount of orange in there. So I think that that's gonna go with the look that I'm envisioning, because the next thing I picked up was the Athr. I almost missed out on it, but I was able to get my hands on it, and I have not opened this. You're seeing me open this for the first time Beautiful, stunning, love it. Very similar to the Desert Sunset that we've talked about on my channel. But the purples... And I'm so happy to see that in person, they're really not leaning super pink and they do look dusty enough. We'll see. I think that this shade's probably going to go a little red on me. And then obviously you have this very kind of fuchsia color. But the rest of it, maybe minus this one right here, doesn't lean too warm or pink. So I'm very excited about this palette. So we're going to dive into that. And then if this lip balm doesn't go with the eye look that we have, I did pick up the Live Tinted Hue Gloss Trio set from their holiday launch. And I'm so excited because I own these two. I'm almost emptying this one. This gloss formula is phenomenal. So I was really excited to try this glitter one. So we'll at least try that on, I think. And then I picked up some Jillian Dempsey products. We'll use those in another video. A Kosas Brow Pop. I might hold on opening that because I do want to use what I have first, even though I don't love the brow products that or the brow gel specifically that I'm using. And then the last thing I picked up, I've been wanting for years, and it is the Ilia Cool Nude, the Necessary Eye Palette. These again are in that purple family. I love purple. I love cooler neutrals. It's just what's flattering for my eyes and my overall coloring, but that's what we're working with today. So let's dive back into health, and I'm gonna start with eyes today. I need more caffeine. Do I? Yes. As I start on eyes, we can talk through my health journey. So we just talked about work-life balance, and that played a very significant role in my health. So when I was in therapy once, we were talking about how health problems, you know, they're very significant and deeply tied into mental health because it's taxing, right? And she had asked me, like, when is a time in your life where you didn't feel almost like, what's the word I'm looking for? Stuck in these issues. And I had to think really hard. And I don't know a time where I didn't have any health issues. I had a lot of issues growing up that are outside of what we're going to talk about today. I had like nosebleeds to the point where they had to like escort me off field trip buses, which was so embarrassing as a kid, but like, what are you gonna do? And I've always kind of had allergies, but nothing terrible, just kind of, you know, getting sniffly or congested certain times of years, nothing that like impacted my life up until high school. Then I would get kind of sinus infections resulting from just being inflamed all the time with the allergies. But then when I first started my menstrual cycle, it was off from the jump. And like a lot of people in America, I was thrown on birth control as a way of leveling out my hormones and having a more consistent and bearable cycle, because not only was my cycle extremely irregular, I had terrible PMS symptoms to the point where I was diagnosed with PMDD. And it wasn't fun, but I went on birth control, and that was kind of that until I started getting migraines again. So I used to have migraines as a kid, and then I would get a nosebleed after it was done. Don't ask me, I don't know the medical science behind that. It seems very odd to me even now as an adult. I don't know if they're linked or not, but the nosebleeds eventually went away. The migraines kind of went away for a while, but then I started that on-call job. Stress level was high. I wasn't getting sleep because I was being interrupted in the middle of the night to answer phone calls and work at 2 a.m. and then back in the office at 8 until at least 5 or 6, and some nights I was there until 9. It just depended fully on how the health of our systems were, and it was kind of a Frankenstein system where it blew up all the time. So when that started happening, I obviously gained weight because I was eating out more out of convenience and not having energy to do those kind of tasks for myself. So sleep was out the window, water was definitely out the window, exercise was out the window, and I wasn't eating right. So that, coupled with stress can do really crazy things to your body. And all of that landed me to a spot where I was having migraines constantly and would last for days on end. I went to the doctor. I was put on sumatriptan. That seemed to somewhat help, but then it got to the point where I was having some migraines where that wasn't even like touching the migraine. I was still in pain for multiple days, and a lot of life stuff was happening. So I got out of that job and we moved to Pittsburgh. But while all of that was happening, I did lose one of my very best friends to addiction. We moved in together for the first time. I'd never lived with a significant other. We moved. I started a new job. It was just a lot of major life changes all happening. And we were planning a wedding on top of all of that. And I had a lot of people around me reminding me to give myself grace because that was a lot going on. But I am someone who just wants to get the things done that need done, and I just leave myself out of the equation. So I was having a lot more migraines, and I went to the doctor, got on sumatriptan again, but this time I started tracking. So I will say, if you suffer from migraines, I would highly recommend downloading the app Migraine Buddy. I'll pop a picture up and link it in the description box. It is a really great way to track not just days of migraines, but symptoms, so that you can equip yourself with data when you go talk to a doctor, or for your own kind of learning, your own triggers and all of that good stuff. But I noticed that every single month they were happening the same week when I would take that last week of birth control pills. So I took that information to my doctor and my gynecologist and learned that if you are having migraines like that and taking oral contraceptives, you are not infinitely, I forget the exact number, but you are like 20 times likely, or around that. Frank is snoring. You are like 20 times more likely to suffer a heart attack or stroke. And I had kind of waffled on the idea of going off birth control a lot up until this point, but this was kind of like the final thing where, like, why would I take additional prescriptions to prevent migraine attacks if I'm equipped with knowing that it's at this time of the month every month, and it also makes me more likely to have a serious heart event, you know? So I went off birth control. Now that was in 2018. So in 2018, after I came off, things were like hot mess express, you know? And we're gonna kind of fast forward a little bit, but also I forgot to mention somewhere in that timeline, my allergies flared to the extreme to where I could no longer be outside certain times of the year, or my eardrum would flip inside out and get stuck because of the amount of liquid and pressure that would build up in my ears. They weren't draining because everything was inflamed. It was just terrible. So I started allergy shots. I went into anaphylactic shock with allergy shots, and then we moved. And my allergist said that since it's a proprietary blend of my allergic cocktail of triggers, that they wouldn't transfer it. So I would have had to start all over again. And I was just at a point where, like, they had to drop the dose so low of my allergy drops or shots that it would take like years and years to even notice a difference. And they honestly just made me feel like crap. So that was happening on top of all those other things. So back to kind of the future. Got off birth control, gave it some time because I know that you have to, like, it gets out of your system. Your hormones need to learn how to start working together again. And I did that, but then I started noticing some things were just kind of like off. So I started the long, arduous process of trying to find doctors who would test hormones in a way that we could get some answers and figure out what the heck was going on. I had terrible acne. I still had some migraines. I was still gaining weight past my normal fluctuations, because we're going to get into that a little bit later. And finally got a diagnosis after like a year or two of just nonstop blood tests and cycling through doctors trying to find someone who was able and willing to give me help, essentially, and not just prescribe something or tell me to lose weight, because we'll get into that. So after all of those blood tests, I finally got the diagnosis of PCOS. And mine is fairly mild, and I cannot imagine those people who are going through a severe case of PCOS, because it is not fun. And once I got that diagnosis, I started doing as much research as I could. And I took it upon myself to talk to whoever would listen about it and try to learn what I could. And I am very good friends with my hairstylist, and we were talking one day, and she mentioned that she had a friend who also struggled with PCOS, and she had seen a functional medicine practitioner and dietitian, and I had tried everything on my own at that point that I was reading, and I just decided that it was a year of investment into my personal health, and I am so fortunate that I had the ability to do this, because it was not cheap. And I saw this man for 2 years, and it was so pricey, but I learned an incredible amount about my own personal health and my own journey of what it meant to take care of myself, what it took to get my body to a healthy place, and understanding that my body and how it works is just different from a lot of people, and therefore how I take care of myself is going to look different from everybody else, even if they had the same exact issues. And I stopped going because it got to a point where, one, it was just so expensive, and two, it was very restrictive, because at the end of the day, he's a dietitian and he was very focused on the weight loss part of it, which I totally understand why, because with PCOS, it is a very delicate balance. You have to be mindful of weight and keep weight in check and lose weight if you are really having issues, but at the same time, PCOS itself makes it very difficult to lose weight. So he was putting me through what I know now to be very extreme measures, and they were not sustainable, and life hit, and I started a new job. We moved into a house, got Frank, and I had a pinched nerve injury, and it derailed all of that. And that's where I am today. And that's what I want to talk about. But first, I need to acknowledge that this palette is absolutely gorgeous, and I really love this look so far. So I'll walk you through what I used. I have this in the crease with the tiniest bit of this shade up here. And then I have this all over the lid, this in the outer corner, and then this along the lash line, with this in the inner corner, and I topped it with just a touch of this topper shade. We'll do a whole video on this palette at some point, but that's what I did today. And now I'm wondering, I'm actually gonna jump into brows. So where we're at today and why I need this reset is, in that process with that dietitian, I lost 70 pounds, my blood work came back great, my cycles became consistent, headaches were of the past, and now I'm having a lot of trouble because my cycles are back to being kind of nuts. Not as nuts as they were, but I'm also not in near as bad health as I was. Right now, I just don't feel good. My fatigue is coming back full force, and that's what I don't want. And I know that part of that, or part of me kind of course correcting this, is going back to basics and now on my own trying to find a balance of what I learned through the process with that dietitian and applying it to my life in ways that will stick so that I can manage this once again, but without being so restricted. I mean, there was a point where we were doing an elimination type diet to see what might trigger certain responses in my body, and also to just like kind of do a reset of everything. Like I wasn't even allowed to have like black pepper, down to black pepper. Like it was nuts. And we got to a point where we tried different things, and keto, I love that works for some people. It landed me in the emergency room. So I need to find what balance that is. And I'm kind of at a point where I don't need someone to tell me what that balance is. I need to figure it out for myself so that it's something that I know I can sustain. And that I'm going to tie this all into that conversation in the beginning. But before I do that, I just want to say, if you are at a place where you need to overhaul your health, or you need to make changes in order to take care of your health, that it is okay that life happens and we take a few steps back. Our bodies are ever changing. They're meant to ever change. You're not supposed to look like you did in high school, college, wherever. And the outward appearance is not what you should focus on, and cannot be the why to this journey for you, because it has to be something that's going to resonate with you enough to continue to push through on days when there is no motivation, because motivation is fleeting and willpower will only get you so far if the why at the end of the day is not impactful enough. My why is because I want to feel good, and I know what that felt like, and I know the steps that need to get me there, and they don't have to be dramatic. So I'm going to grab the rest of my eye stuff and we're going to get on with this, because this is a very long video. We're going to try with just mascara, but I have noticed, I'm also doing a little bit of eye brightening. I have noticed that my lashes are not looking great. They're like shorter than usual and spiky. And I have theories that maybe we'll get into at some point, but I'm going to test out that theory. So we're going to see what it looks like. Hopefully okay, or else we're gonna have to hide behind some eyeliner. So what I'm focusing on now is tying back to that conversation with my mentor at work. I need to focus on my physical and mental health. And when your mental health is not great, typically your physical health is not, and vice versa. So to me, they're hand in hand and should be approached the same. I'm trying this purple mascara, which is very exciting. Anyway, anyways, my goal right now is my sleep, my water, and my exercise, and nothing else. Because I have learned that when I am sleeping well, it's easier to exercise. When I exercise, I drink more water just out of habit. And when I do all three of those things, I make better food choices and have energy to cook for myself, because it's a snowball effect. So instead of giving myself super concrete goals, really, I'm just starting with, let's go to bed at a reasonable hour and get up at a reasonable hour, and also get back into exercising for multiple reasons. I got up at 5 a.m. today and took my fanny down to solid core for the first time in months, and I was on such a roll. I had obliques, okay, like oblique lines. Never in my life before have I had that, and I was starting to get jacked. Like my arms were getting defined, and it's been really hard for me to go back to that class, because if you have ever taken solid core or Legree or reformer Pilates, then you know how difficult that class is. It looks like you're barely moving, but the whole point, if you are not familiar with Legree method and Pilates, is to fatigue the muscle as quickly as possible and then keep going with very slow reps. and it is very mentally and physically challenging, and that is why I love it. It gets me to a place where I can't possibly think about anything else besides the movement that I'm in. And that's what I need in a workout, is to be able to shut my brain off. It's also very social for me, especially working from home, to get out and go to a studio. And the accountability, right? Like, if I get charged because I late canceled, I'm not going to late cancel, you know? And I'm very fortunate because there was a time where I loved taking this class, but I could not afford a membership. And I'm very fortunate that I can now, and I need to make the best of it. So sleep and solid core right now are my only focus, especially as we go into the holiday. I'm not going to deprive myself. We're going to see how this journey unfolds. I'm happy to keep you updated if you are interested in that. If you are, let me know down below. I am going to go in with this Couchette, but I honestly think I'm going to end up maybe adding a little bit of condensate. We shall see. We shall see. But yeah, I hope that this all makes sense and is not just me venting about things. I'm not venting. Like, I feel good about the changes I want to make, and I feel even better that I started that today. And I also want to say in this video that it's okay to outsource whatever you need to outsource in order to prioritize yourself. And one thing for me is meal services, where we get the ingredients and it's like 10 minutes to throw dinner together. I need to outsource that. I need to outsource that. Does that mean I never cook? No. It just means that I'm trying to alleviate areas that I know I tend to let go first. And whatever that is for you, whether it's hiring cleaners, using a meal service, enlisting friends, family, spouses to help with certain parts of your day, it's okay to ask for help, especially when you are going through a suboptimal health situation. And I just want you to know that that's okay, because I don't traditionally love asking for help, and I'm terrible at delegating, but we're working on that. I'm not terrible at delegating, it's just not my favorite thing to do. But I hope that this gives you some kind of insight into my health journey. If you are interested, let me know. If you would rather it be a different format than like a get ready with me, also let me know that below. But I just wanted to, one, get ready to film another video, two, not have it be so serious because I held it together, which I'm very proud of. But I've also been dealing with this for 7 years at least, and I've had my period of grief. There are still days when I'm down for the count that I deal with the same grief, but it's much fewer and far between because I've become accustomed to this life, but also I have tools in my arsenal that I know I can whip out to make myself feel better. And we talk about some of those in my beauty strategy videos. So please go check out those if you are interested. I have a playlist with all of those in there. I think we are going to revive that, and we're going to talk about down days, all of that good stuff. But let's try some lips on. Let's try the Westman Atelier first and just see. These are fairly sheer, but they do add a decent amount of color to the lip. The scent is very light to me, but the formula is gorgeous, and I'm happy to have this color. I don't think it's what I want to rock with this purple of a look. So let's try Live Tinted. All right, and this is the new shade Brilliant. It's like a beige with glitter, and I'm sad that this isn't offered on its own. So I had to get the kit, but I'm not even mad because you can see like I'm down to here already with this lip gloss. I just love it so much. So I'm happy to have a backup. They are full-sized in the holiday kit, and it's a good value if you are interested or you love this lip gloss. The doe foot is so cool. It has like a divot in the center of it so that it holds a luscious amount of product. No scent. Okay. And I will say, I am not traditionally a glittery lip girl because I cannot stand feeling the texture. And honestly, if you really concentrate, you can kind of feel some of the glitter, but you feel it less in this product than the shimmery, the glittery shades from Fit Glow. They have shimmer, but they also have glitter. The glitter I can still feel in Fit Glow. Same with M Beauty. I cannot with this, and that makes me very happy. And I hope they continue to expand the shade range. But let's go ahead, wrap this up. I don't know what I'm doing with my hair and my outfit. You're just gonna have to wait and see that in the next video. But I hope that this is helpful and gives you context when I say what I'm dealing with. I think I forgot that I also deal with a slow thyroid. Add it to the list. I don't even know if I covered everything, but that's kind of what's led me up until this point, and I think that that's the most important piece of this conversation, because I am hoping that you will notice the changes in me, and that maybe this is a reminder to myself, a reminder to you, and almost some accountability to myself to really stay focused on those small changes that I can make right now that don't prevent me from having a good time at the holiday functions, going out with friends, all of that stuff. It's just a push in the right direction until these things become habits that I enjoy. And I do enjoy solid core. I'm so happy I went, but I will tell you, my muscles are quaking and I'm gonna be so sore tomorrow when I film again. So future Rachel, good luck, drink water, etc. But if you're going through something similar and you need a health reset, I really encourage you to take a hard look at those pillars of health, which is sleep, water, and movement, and be honest with yourself on how you can improve those things. If you would like to see a video where I run through ways that I'm making sure I go to bed early and that I am going and getting the movement for the day, let me know. I'm happy to do that. If you have any questions or you want me to iterate on this even more, let me know. And thank you for sticking around for such a long one. If you have, leave a grape emoji down below since we did purple. And I liked everything that I used. I didn't even need to add additional blush. I like the look. The palette's beautiful. We'll do a full review on the palette if that's something you're interested in. But that's my roundup. It's all good. And I am going to drink some coffee, get into some fancy clothes, and we're gonna have a good time filming today. So, hope you're having a great week. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.